Hello, everyone. Who in here loves regulation? Anyone? Yeah, kind of expected, right? But it's not, here's the thing, right? Regulation is really important for driving sustainability transformation. It's not the regulation itself, but it's the endless paperwork and bureaucratic process, and that's probably the part you don't like, right? And you're in the right session. Hello, my name is Kento Sato, Solutions Architect at AWS. Today, I want to show you how we can flip that script, transforming sustainability regulation from business constraint to capability using AI. Imagine regulation actually accelerates sustainability without slowing down your business. By the end of the session, you have everything you need to get started, as we've open sourced the solution that you can deploy today. But first, why does regulation matter? Let me show you the world without regulation and with regulation. Without regulation, we face this thing called market failure in some certain sustainability areas. Take low-carbon materials like low-carbon concrete or low-carbon steel. These materials tend to cost more than traditional alternatives. And from society's perspective, it makes perfect sense to invest in those materials to protect the environment in the long run. But from individual companies' perspective, paying higher costs while your competitors are using cheaper alternatives doesn't always make sense if your consumers are not willing to pay for the premium. But with regulation, everything changes. Regulation creates a level playing field where everyone must comply. Now, companies can invest in sustainability without being undercut by competitors. And those early adopters actually gain competitive advantage as they've already established a relationship with their low-carbon suppliers. So sustainability regulations are essential to guide low-carbon transition across the entire economy. And these regulations are implemented across every major industries. Like, they can be renewable permits, manufacturing compliance, ESG investment reviews, or fleet electrification, and the list goes on. And there are different regulations across different industries, but they all share these common characteristics that creates a huge administrative bottleneck. You deal with high volume of complex documents that needs to be verified against a large checklist that requires expert knowledge. Let me show you a concrete example. Building permits application for sustainable and energy-efficient buildings construction. So applicant needs to prepare, say, 12 different types of documents that contains complex diagrams and charts and text. And the reviewers have like hundreds of checklists that references laws and regulations. And this checklist needs to be verified against these complex diagrams. Right? So what does this mean for both sides? For applicants, it means they have to organize data for internal verification, because if the application is rejected, that means additional rework, more cost, and more delays. And for reviewers, they have to go through huge administrative work for document reviews. And there's economic risk, right? If the building construction delays too long, it risks economics to slow down. So this kind of pressure makes it regulators to put ambitious, strong sustainability regulations into place, as they have to balance economic and environmental impact. Okay, so that's the challenging part. Can we solve this with AI? And here's a straightforward approach. You have review documents and checklists. Why not put them to generative AI and get instant review results? Simple, right? But when we tested this approach, we discovered there were critical problems that makes it unsuitable for regulatory compliance workload. First problem is lost in the middle. When you put large context into generative AI, it's known to degrade performance. When you feed like 200 pages of documents with 100 items of checklist, say 50th checklist doesn't get the same attention as the first or the last one. The second problem is accountability gap. when AI makes a mistake, who is responsible and who is there to correct it? Regulators cannot simply accept, well, because AI said so, as an excuse. So, if throwing everything at AI doesn't work, how can we solve this? This is why we developed RAPID, Review and Assessment Powered by Intelligent Documentation. RAPID is an open source solution that you can deploy today to streamline large volume of document review. And let me show you the demo first, and I will explain how it works later. We want to check if the new equipment installation in this demo complies with the energy efficiency standard. And here are the sample documents I'm dealing with. Energy efficiency compliance checklist on the left, and equipment specification document on the right. First, I'm uploading the checklist. You can just drag and drop the PDF file and click Create. In the back end, RAPID works on extracting the checklist. And before using this checklist, an expert can review whether each item has been extracted correctly from the original document. And if the check item is too ambiguous, RAPID will prompt you to clarify with suggestion. In this example, checklist requires compliance with energy efficiency standard, but it doesn't have the specific details on the standard. So you might want to add detailed criteria so the AI can make informed assessment. OK, let's understand what just happened in the demo. This is phase one of using RAPID, AI-powered checklist extraction. The AI takes the checklist PDF file and extract as a structured data. Then human can validate whether the checklist has been extracted correctly. OK, that's the phase one. Let's see the phase two. Now, I'm uploading the equipment specification file for review. OK, so all I do is upload the document and map with the checklist I just extracted. And click Compare. In the back end, RAPID processes each check item one by one against the document. After a few moments, you can review the results. And for each result, you can see the cost and the status of passed or failed. And you can adjust the confidence score. High confidence means AI has sufficient evidence to make its judgment. When you open the detail, you'll see AI's detailed reasonings on decision, as well as citation from the source text for humans to verify the results. So this checklist requires rated power and the nameplate to match. And they do actually match in the motor specification. And if you want human to validate, you can check out the source documents here. And here's a nameplate, the model ID, 75 kilowatt, and the cooling system, 30 watt, and 30 kilowatt. So they match. So AI's decision was right this time. Let's look at another item. Here you can see an item with low confidence score. Right? As we've seen in the checklist extraction phase, so checklist requires with compliance with standard requirements for heating equipment, but it didn't have specific details on how to check whether it meets the compliance. So AI wasn't confident enough, so it returned the failed status. OK? In this case, you could go back and improve the checklist, or if you're a human expert, can validate and check manually and override the result. Like this. OK, so this is human in the loop component, not just throwing everything at AI. But there's another approach we've developed into RAPID, is to prepare and configure detailed requirements as an external knowledge source and configure RAPID to make it accessible via tools. and it's easier to see the demo. Here's the same checklist item, but this time it passed with 95% confidence score. When the checklist, well, when the Rapid didn't have enough information, it went on to search external knowledge, find how to calculate if it meets the standard, and it returned the calculation method of how to validate. Then it created the program based on the information it extracted and validated it's above the requirements. So that's another approach. But let's see the whole picture here. Now you have the whole picture. In the phase 1, you use the AI to extract the checklist, then human validate it. In the phase 2, we use those checklists for document review. Each checklist item is processed separately against the relevant documents. Then human validated the results. So this two-phase approach solves both of the problems I mentioned earlier. Remember? First problem was lost in the middle. By limiting each AI call to a single check item with focused document context, we reduce the degradation happens with long, complex prompts. And second problem was accountability gap. Human experts verify the checklist structure in phase 1, then validate AI review results in phase 2. So there's a clear human oversight at every critical decision point. Now, how have we built this on AWS? Here's a rapid serverless AWS architecture. Let me walk you through each component. The user interface is delivered through Amazon CloudFront, our contents delivery network service, and static web files are stored in Amazon S3, and AWS WAF, Web Application Firewall, for security protection. The backend, we have Amazon API Gateway for handling all the API requests, and Amazon Cognito for managing all the user authentication. We have AWS Lambda handling all the business logics behind the APIs. Okay, when checklist documents are uploaded to Amazon S3, our workflow orchestrated by AWS Step Functions triggers AWS Lambda to extract and structure checklist. We use the latest generative AI model through Amazon Bedrock service. Then all structured checklist data is stored in Aurora Serverless v2 MySQL, a cloud-native relational database service that scales seamlessly based on your workload. Right. Our review workflow is also managed by AWS Step Functions, coordinating between Amazon S3 for document storage and Amazon Bedrock agent call runtime integration. This AI agent approach enables intelligent documentation review analysis, and AI agent can access to external tools, external knowledge via Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases, or run computational analysis through Amazon Bedrock agent call code interpreter functionality. The main benefit of running serverless is you only pay for what you use. So you can start with 10 documents per week for proof of concept phase, and you can scale to production tens of thousands of documents per week. No infrastructure management are required. AWS handles all the patching, scaling, and maintenance behind the scene. And let me put some business numbers on the business impact. We've seen up to 75% reduction in human hours for document review in some of our early pilot projects. What could this mean? It could mean faster delivery of sustainability-related projects. Now, sustainability regulations can accelerate sustainability without slowing down your business. So this is the kind of transformation we are talking about. So how can you benefit from Rapid? It depends on what you do. If you're an applicant, you can deploy Rapid internally, measure the time savings, and advocate for regulatory adoption. If you're a reviewer, like government agency, inspection authority, start with a pilot project on the biggest bottleneck, measure the savings, then scale to other categories. If you're a technology partner, like system integrator or consultant, Rapid is open sourced. You can customize it to solve your specialized industry's biggest challenges. Let me also show you a roadmap example, right? By starting with the end goal and walking through how to get there step by step. Our ultimate goal is operation for production. Rapid is actively used for production, continuously streamlining document review operations. Now, how do we get there? First step is always business validation. You need to identify domain with the highest business impact and organize a checklist and review documents. Once you validate the business case, you move into experimentation. Experiment with Rapid in a small but high-impact domain. This is where you validate business performance and demonstrate that Rapid delivers expected value. You can iterate through business validation until you prove the concept. Once you prove the concept, you move into production development. This is when you gather the production requirements and develop a full-scale solution. At this phase, you may want to involve AWS partners or professional services to fill in the requirements. And this brings us back to our goal. Rapid is actively used in production, streamlining document review, continuously improving. Okay, finally, how can you get started on Rapid? You can start with scanning this QR code on the left. We have GitHub open source repository on the left. And if you want to deploy quickly, we also have QR code on the right with the AI solution box where you can deploy Rapid in just one click. You have the Rapid environment in just 10 minutes. Transform sustainability regulation from constraint to capability. As I stated in the beginning, you now know how you can flip the script. Let's make sustainability regulations to accelerate sustainability without slowing down our business. And if you want to see more Rapid in action, please stop by at the Sustainability Showcase booth in Expo in Venetian. We have a bunch of demos, including Rapid, to solve sustainability-related challenges. So I'm looking forward to see you there and ready to show you Rapid live demos and ready to help you get started. That's all. Thank you.